Welcome back to HabsCast. We are live. I am joined today by the world's foremost hockey historian and trivia expert, and that's not hyperbole. It's a fact. Liam Maguire and Rick Springhetti. no, Rick
Thank
is
you.
Rick is
Come on.
Rick is a longtime scout. He scouted with me at McKean's and recruits, and he's part of the HabsCast team now too. So I just keep bringing him along. He's my assistant GM, you could say. Great to have you two on board. I'm Grant McCagg, and this is HabsCast, and let's get talking about that swamping by the Habs. Goals by Bolduc. Apparently, he only got one. I don't know. It looked like he tipped that one, but they're giving it to Carrier. Slaf got one. Great to see Slaf score in the first two games. Man, I didn't want to. The longer he'd have gone without a goal, you just think, oh, here he goes. The scoring confidence will evaporate again because he had 6 shots on goal last game. You only have him listed for 2 shots tonight, but geez, it seemed like he had another 6. But shots and goals sometimes can be a little bit tricky. Who else scored? A fella named Oliver Kapanen just happened to score again tonight. That's 2 straight games for Oliver. I'm kind of happy about that he got off to a great start there to the season. And who scored the other one, guys? Matheson.
Yep.
Right.
You just wanted me to say his name, right, Grant? Because
I did. Then I thought, no, I better say it, just so people know who I'm talking about. Mike Matheson, and 2 points, 2 assists for Suzuki. I think Gallagher got 2 points. So I mean, you look up and down the score sheet, lots of points on the board. I think the star of the game, though, folks, had to be Dobes. 968 save percentage. He was fantastic. And, I mean, you could name about 6 stars. Let's start with you, Liam. What are your takeaways on this game?
You're racing a 1-0 deficit. Certainly very encouraging, especially the manner in which they did it with 3 straight, then eventually what turned out to be 5 straight unanswered goals. But to do it, Matheson's goal was massive in the first 6 seconds. Those are killers. And just a game tonight, to me, you're playing a lesser opponent for sure than Toronto. But at the end of the day, everybody's dangerous. Anybody can beat anybody. Montreal's speed tonight was just unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. And they're coming in waves. And all this talk, look, very small sample size. We said it last night, the Toronto game, first game. Now we're saying it, second game, that maybe, and Grant, you've been bullish even long before the season started on Cappy. Second line center question, Montreal was the biggest question this summer. What's got Kadako in? Who they, Hugo, they've got to go out. They've got to find another guy. Holy lifting. They may have just parachuted this guy in here. And, man, that line is just got tremendous potential to start meshing once they really find a real connection with Demidov, because the guy's got talent. You can see it tonight. His play down low with the puck is a guy of a 25-year-old. Like, he's unbelievable. So, to me, tonight, racing the lead early, taking control of a game that they really should have won. They're that much better than Detroit right now. It's a game they should have won. They did, and their overall speed. And like you said, Grant, Dobes making the saves when he did. Could easily been a 5-3, maybe 5-4 game, 6-4 empty netter. Instead, they stayed that 4-goal bump, which is great. And that's initially what I got to say tonight about the game.
Yeah. I was really impressed by the breakouts and the zone entries tonight. They, a lot of 3-on-2s. The speed, as you say, it's noticeable that when you've got as mobile a defense as Montreal has now, like and Dobson and Matheson look great together so far, don't they? And when you've got Alex Carrier on your third pairing, I mean that guy is just so solid. it's underrated how good he is, right? And for him to be a third pairing defenseman, it just goes to show you how deep the Canadians are now. I like the Oliver Kapanen. I thought the one thing that he needed to do to break through and to be to challenge for a second line center spot was to improve his speed, and I think we've seen that from last year to this year. He obviously had a good off season, worked on. Hey, he was still 21 when the summer started, right? So still developing his body. I think it's pretty obvious he had a productive off season. He's gotten a little quicker, and for me, that was all that was missing, was a little bit more quickness, a little more speed. He's he's an above average NHL skater at this point, I think, and that you need that to be a second line center, and I think he has that now. And yeah, that line looks really solid. What are your takeaways from the game, Rick?
Made a magic word, I think, is chemistry, and it's like he's found a way to get every line to work off each other well and complement each other. And it's almost like every line has its own personality or its own way of playing, right? Where the Kaplan line has really been excelling on the transition game, getting into the zone properly, and creating opportunities that way. And then you get the Doc line that has been just more simple, smash mouth, get in front of the net, get into the hard areas, use your physical abilities around the net to create havoc. And then you got that first line that is a classic puck moving, quick passing. They find each other all the time. So you get these waves of lines coming at you, and they all play just a little bit differently and effectively. And it gives options to Marty St. Louis, and it causes every time you're on the ice, it's almost like you're trying to adapt to a new way of playing when it comes to the Habs. So he's maximizing everybody's ability. And you called it, Grant, also. You said that Doc and Gallagher might work well off each other. And that's been the line that worked that way. Because with everything that he's been through, Doc has had to it's a lot on someone's mind, the injuries and trying to find your game. And Gallagher almost takes that away, where it's like, listen, we're going right to the net. Don't overthink it, buddy. Let's just play. And now you're seeing Doc do that. He's not hesitant. He's not skating around in circles. He's obviously in better shape. He's got more of a jump. You see that a lot when he's trying to gain the red line to get a good dump in. He's a little bit quicker, and he places the puck better because he's got a little extra second to do something. So it's been fun to watch. Every line is just a little bit differently, yet they're all effective in their own way. Really fun to watch as a hockey fan.
Yeah, Doc was +2 tonight, I believe, which was encouraging to see. He's not going to be off to that terrible plus-minus start that he was last year. And, and then, like I say, Slaf scoring that goal. I think that was just so important for him, getting a goal in his first 2 games. And you saw the smile on his face on the bench there, that it's a relief to him. I have really been impressed by him the first 2 games. I think we might be seeing a break, that breakthrough that you wonder, it might be at 23, but could it be this year? I wouldn't be surprised if Slaf flirted with a point per game this year and had a real breakthrough, because there's a lot of pieces to his game. That line again, just like the first night, they had some really dominant shifts, and boy, oh boy, I'm really excited about just how many points that trio can get this year, Liam.
Yeah, it's very encouraging, because we're talking about a game last night in a loss to Toronto where Montreal outplayed them for large stretches of that game. The first 7 minutes of the second period was just absolutely outstanding hockey compared to last year in a 1-0 win with a Monty 48 save shutout. Montreal got outplayed almost in every facet of that game. You almost get a false sense, well, we got the W. They came back and lost against Boston, won against Ottawa, then they lost their next 4, 1-2, and lost their next 6, leaving them last place in the league after 15 games. So you see this year, and we've got 2 points in the bank, 2 games in, and a game last night that got away with a drop stick and a broken stick to the winning goal and a couple empty netters. So the Doc start And Galley's play so far, and man, go up and down the lineup. There's really, and the thing about Slaf's goal is it was a power play goal. It was the first power play goal of the season. So,
That's right.
It's
so much for
interesting.
taking them off.
We're sitting here making an analysis to the best of our ability. I'd love to be a fly on the wall to know how the decision-making process went to unilaterally say we're going to stick with Caulfield on PP number 1, and Laine's just going to he'll come out in the second unit. If you look at the at that second the first or second power play tonight, the second unit actually had the better chances. So, Grant, you and I talked at the start of the season, before the season, I should say, where I was kind of hoping maybe it'd be a 1 and a 1A, let guys roll, give the second unit a chance maybe to start. But that hasn't been the case. That's why I think Slaf's goal, not only big for him, but good for the power play as well. And again, really, all facets of this game tonight, a couple of breakdowns. You're going to have that 60 minutes, of course, but just a really, really encouraging game to get a win against another team that on the road, back-to-back, you are that much better than them on paper, and they went out and proved it on the ice. That's just really encouraging if you're a Hab fan.
Yeah. Well, last year at the start of the year, sorry, did you say they lost the second game last year, Liam?
Yeah, they lost to Boston. Yeah.
Right. Liam's memory is a little better than mine. I don't know if people have noticed that yet. Well, it's better than everybody's, but that's another story. Yeah. Well, they were 1-1 to start last year, right?
Yeah.
But really, they should have been 0-2. Like that, Monty stood on his head in the first game, and it was like a 48 save shutout or something like that. So, but this year they should be 2-0, really. So
yeah,
they've started off a lot better this year. I mean, you've got 4 new guys in the top 9, right? Or
yeah,
no, 3, I guess, because Doc started the season last year, but it might as well be 4. But Bolduc, Kapanen, and Demidov. And what a difference that makes, right? I mean, it's an upgrade. It's an obvious upgrade. And Demidov on the forecheck, like for a kid as young as he is, like you say, Liam, it's just you gotta love it. That line, I really like the makeup of that line, and I think the Canadians may have found their second line. And wow, the oldest guy in the bunch is what, 24 or 25, Newhook. Very very promising for the future. What do you think there, Rick?
The fun thing about that line too is watching what Newhook has become. He was skating around last year a lot in circles away from the puck, and I wasn't sure what he was trying to accomplish half the time. He's attacking the puck so hard right now, and he's just creating a lot of havoc on the forecheck and for defensemen trying to handle the puck. He's skating with the puck with a lot more confidence. He's not getting rid of it quite as quick. He's finding open spaces with his speed. Lord knows that he could get into open spaces quickly. And when you got a really intelligent player like Kapanen, especially where I'm really impressed by Kapanen to me, is in the neutral zone. He reads the play so well, and he really understands what the opponent is trying to do. So you got a lot of really good plays happening in the neutral zone, and then that line could just come in the offensive zone with a lot of speed and usually having created a breakdown at some point defensively. And you saw that today with a very slow, plodding Detroit team that had a lot of trouble moving. Chariot and Hamonic had a lot of trouble really handling that team. Again, it's about working well together and knowing what people could do. And kudos to these guys, all of them. Demidov as basically a rookie. Newhook as a guy who had a lot to prove, that struggled a lot last year, who's really found his game. And Kapanen as the prospect that was maybe flying under the radar to everybody but Grant. They've taken their chances, they've taken that opportunity, and they've taken advantage of it. That's all you want with youngsters, is when you have that opportunity to have the courage to take it and the intelligence and the confidence to take advantage of it. And they're showing it. They're showing it. They're making life very, very difficult for the opponent in every aspect of the game, even defensively. Demidov still makes a few mistakes. I think he's a bit hesitant defensively, but New York is using his speed. Kapanen is using his intelligence. So they're excelling in many ways on the ice, and it's really fun to watch.
You got anything to add to that, Liam?
Not really. I think it's very well said. I think we're all pretty chuffy about what we've seen here over the last 48 hours, and it's hard to find a ton of much of anything to be overly critical about. Obviously, 2 games in, you probably wouldn't be anyway, unless they had got blown out too. And instead, like you said, I think we're all in agreement, could easily, minimally probably could have pushed that game into OT last night. So still that's in the rearview mirror now. It got the W. Let's move on. But really, just everything's so encouraging. The speed tonight, the difference in those teams was really, really apparent. And did you see the ISO where you watched on Bolduc? The camera that had the ISO on them, they showed it.
No.
And it was on the broadcast, and they had an ISO camera on them there, and it's just we see guys who just know where to go when they don't have the puck. There's so much to being a successful professional player in the National Hockey League that's a competent player. If you've come out of junior, as so many guys have, or NCAA, more junior because the numbers can traditionally be a little higher for guys who are really good there. And they have a tough time. That's even historically that way, right? And they have a tough time making that transition. When you see guys like that this early in their career and they just know where to go, that ISO camera tonight really highlighted that, I thought. Who knows, that goal may revert back to him. It doesn't matter. He scored anyway. Everyone's just going to be happy about the W. But that's just a cool thing to see, just already guys like that. The other thing, too, and then I'll throw it back to you, Grant, is a number of back checks tonight. I saw Doc Hart on a back check. Josh Anderson hard on a back check. A couple of other guys coming back deep, man, getting right back deep, right involved, like being involved, being responsible when that puck gets turned over. That's going to bode well, too, because Dobes or Monty or whomever not always going to make those saves. And that's why you're going to lose games, obviously. But, man, oh, man, it was great to get the W so soon after opening against a tough loss against a rival. So lots to be happy about tonight.
Yeah. Well, that speed, I think, is quite apparent tonight that I think Montreal's one of the fastest teams in the league and also the youngest. So that's, that's not just a coincidence, I don't think, right? You had the old legs of Hamonic and Sherratt thinking, oh, my God, these friggin' youngsters, man. How do we keep up with them?
Young legs didn't look that quick at the back end there.
And it shocked me how many pundits put Detroit ahead of Montreal in the standings for this year. Because, I looked at that defense in particular, and Hamonic, he was done in Ottawa 2 years ago, let alone now, 2 years later, he's not getting any quicker. And I don't know. And Finney, they've got a 7th round pick out of junior playing on their top line. Like that, what's that tell you about their depth? Montreal brings in top 5 picks for their top 6. They've got a top 3 pick in Line A, who's a 35 career goal scorer on their 4th line. Meanwhile, Detroit's putting in 7th round draft picks at 20 years old on their 1st line. Like if you just looked at just the rosters in general, I don't know how you could have predicted that Detroit, and I'm not saying that they won't come back, and maybe they will somehow finish ahead of the Canadiens, but boy, judging by what we saw tonight, I'd have to say that the Canadiens are definitely on the road to finishing ahead of Detroit in the standings.
Well, Grant, I must say I'm really thrilled that Liam mentioned the back checking.
Yeah.
When we were watching Cole Caulfield as a 17-year-old at the U.S. under-18 program, did we ever imagine that part of his game would be playing defense with such enthusiasm? He is always one of the first guys back. At one point, he even played the body hard on one player and really took him down, and might have been Moritz Seider even. I really am surprised at that aspect of his game. I always taken to that aspect of his game of playing well without the puck and getting engaged. And he's never going to overpower anybody, but he's getting onto the puck pretty quickly in the defensive zone, often the first one back.
Tell me that Marty St. Louis hasn't been a positive influence, 2 small guys that Marty has mentored him well. You can see, you you can round out your game, young fella. And man, has he ever, since he first came up with the Canadians. It was, he was noted for his great one-timer and good speed, but the rest of his game you wondered about. It needed to develop, and man, you're spot on. What do you think, Liam, about the evolution of Caulfield's game?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Marty, right? Because I don't think he's getting any Christmas cards from Ducharme, but it's these things evolve sometimes, and in a couple of weeks, Grant, I'm going to have Yvan Cournoyer on my Montreal Forum show. There's a guy who, if you get him to talk about Toe Blake right now, it's with reverence, unquestionable, unparalleled reverence. Yet he couldn't get a 5-on-5 shift for almost 4 years.
Yeah.
He was up with the Habs. He had to scrape and claw. He tells the greatest story, and I'm sorry to digress to the 60s, but I gotta say this. He tells a great story where they would go on the power play, and of course he'd go on starting right wing with Jean Beliveau, and he would go to Jean. He'd say, "Jean, let's not score right away. I want to get about 90 seconds on the ice, and then I'll get one." That's how everyone talks about the 1950s power play with forced rule change, right? In 57, where the player was allowed out of the box. But the 60s power play was almost every bit as dangerous. And Yvan came on the scene. But you're talking about a diminutive winger who had to learn how to play better both ends of the ice, which he did. If you ever get a chance to watch I know you guys have, but I'm watching anybody who's viewing this who might be too young to have remembered Cournoyer. If you ever get a chance to watch any of the classic games and watch that man's compete level at both ends of the ice, it's not a wonder he took the C from Henri Richard in 1975.
Right.
Deserving captain. He's one of only two guys in NHL history, not Montreal Canadian history, NHL history, to win the Stanley Cup every single year they wore the C. Yvan Cournoyer and Maurice the Rocket Richard. So a pretty good company there. But Caulfield's transition here has been phenomenal because it's like I said, that ISO on Bolduc tonight, I'm sure you could have done it on some other guys and seen a lot of the same things. And the breakdowns that did happen, it was really DeBrincat, like a couple of the really key offensive guys, Larkin, whomever, on Detroit, who have great skill themselves, and created something down low and got chances on net, and Dobes was there to handle that tonight. But Caulfield's play, it's, we're abundance of riches right now in terms of the talent level and watching them grow. I think we're all fortunate, and let's just see how things progress here over the next 2-3 weeks, the first 10, 12, 20 games. But great point by Caulfield you made there, and I'm really encouraged by everything I'm seeing.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I've got last night after the game, I was watching a 1965 Toronto versus Montreal semifinals. Gump Worsley and Nets. Actually, Conway was playing with Bell.
Was that the Orland Kurtenbach, Ted Harris, round one? You
know what? I haven't got to that part yet. Okay. I don't think. I didn't
Sorry
see the fight. Yeah. But at this point, Toronto's up 3-1 in the game, so I'm not sure if that was that game or not, Liam.
Okay.
But he played with Beliveau. He was on a line with Beliveau in this game. Yeah. So 65. When did he break in? 62?
63. Really.
63?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least by the playoffs in 65, he was, I'm assuming they weren't the fourth line if he was playing with Beliveau, right? So he was getting some ice time by that point. But yeah, you can tell that you can go, Jacques Lemaire, when he first broke in with the Canadians, was an offensive player, and they, they taught him that, look, if you want to play top two center role with the Canadians, you gotta play defense.
Scotty Bowman did with Jacques Lemaire what he later did with Steve Yzerman. Identical.
Yeah, exactly. Turned them into two of the top ever two-way centers in league history.
Yeah.
You know, Guy Carbonneau was a 200-point scorer in junior. He comes to the Canadians. He becomes one of the best defensive centers. If he wanted to get a role, he had to learn, right?
Look at Yvon Lambert. Yvon Lambert led the American Hockey League in scoring.
Yeah.
He was a Detroit Red Wing prospect. He was drafted by Detroit. The Canadians picked him up on waivers. He goes down to Nova Scotia under Al McNeil, does superlative training down there, and comes up and part of the greatest fourth line maybe in hockey history with Risebrough and Tremblay, and had a 30-goal season and could fight, and that line could do it all. I mean, it was Eddie times in Montreal when that's your fourth line, third or fourth, depending on how you want to grade them at the time. So.
And I believe Yvon Lambert started playing organized hockey only at 14, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Same as Fergie. John Ferguson started at 15, Yvon Lambert at 14, but different era. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to do that now. But what's going on today is so exciting. This is just incredible to see. I just, it leaves you where where's the schedule? When's the next game? Like, you just want to make sure you're getting your eyes on it, because I think we're in for something really special here. I think a lot of people are not saying they're going to be in the mix. I saw the same thing, Grant. A lot of people expecting a regression. Who knows? They may be right. But what's on paper here for this team, and very quickly what we've seen here in 48 hours certainly doesn't suggest that. Yeah.
I'm glad we got back to, because I'm sure a few of our young viewers are, what the hell are those guys? What are those old guys talking about? Who's this Yvon Lambert guy?
Old hockey.
Well, we were fortunate to live it, right?
Dick Irvin's wife used to say, his late wife, God love her, she used to say to Dick all the time, "Dick, you're always living in the past." And he said, "You know what, Wilma? The past was very good to me."
There you go. So who starts the next game? There's the big question there, guys. Tell me who you think.
They'll go back to Monty.
It's pretty obvious who they will start, right? But who would you start?
I'd go back with Monty too. What do you think, Rick?
I would go back to Monty. I mean, he is the number one guy, and out of respect, even for that role, I think season opener in Montreal on a Saturday night, you go back to Monty, and he's the veteran. He gets the respect. There's nothing wrong with Dobes, but he's earned himself more games. And last year, one of the big issues they had was just overplaying Monty, and he was exhausted at the end of the year, and it showed. If you could get more games out of Dobes,
is actually on the road. I think they're in Chicago, I believe.
They are in Chicago. Oh, sorry.
I think so. Now you got me second guessing myself, but I think it's a road game, Rick. I believe.
Their next game? Is it not at home against Seattle?
No, their next game is against Chicago on Saturday, and I believe that's a road game as well.
Oh, my fault. Okay.
I think they have yet another. Is there a road game after that? No, I think they're back home then to Seattle at that point. Then they've got a four-game homestand. But I think Monty's starting the next one anyway. Yeah. He is the starter. It is what it is. It's going to be an interesting scenario because Dobes played what? 2 preseason games, didn't get scored on?
True.
Yeah.
So, Laos won the night, made at least 3, if not 4, 10-bell saves. It's going to be very, very interesting because this is what you want. It's an abundance of riches right now, but you got to bank the points. You want to stay in the mix. There's a lot of parity, despite the fact that it'll be very quickly. We all know how it works, right? American Thanksgiving is sort of the first real measuring stick in the league as to where you are. And that's obviously a number of weeks away, but we'll know a lot by then. And we'll see where everything's at. But I'm telling you what, it may come to be that Dobes could be here something really special. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. Monty's your starter right now. He'll be playing Saturday night 100%. But it may come to pass that Dobes could maybe wrest it away from it, take it away. Who knows? But I think Monty's clearly still the number one.
So what do you have to say about this comment from Little Potato, Liam?
Can you? My screen won't show that, Grant.
Oh. Little Potato says Liam has dial-up. Hey, Liam Liam is in.
I think it's a fantastic comment. I mean, I'm coming to you large and live on a Commodore 64.
Yeah. Did he bought from Yvon Lambert back in back in 87?
Yeah, after we closed Toe Blake's Tavern.
There you go. Well, Liam does live in the boonies. So Liam does live in the boonies, so you got to give him a little bit of a break there. He's on Starlink, I think. So, you know,
is there a problem with my feed, or was he just being facetious over my my jumping back into the past?
You know,
hey,
what?
Look, I haven't even started talking about Gordie Howe versus Rocket Richard. I mean, hold on, go grab another pint. I'm just about to get wound up here.
We'll save that for the next Montreal Forum coming to you next week, folks.
Absolutely.
Actually, you're clear to me. You looks fine.
Okay.
Rick's the one that's in the dark there a little bit, but
yeah, I got to get that fixed up. We had such a hard time getting going at the start with all kinds of technical problems, but we've come a long way, and we'll be much better next time.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, my friend. And no, I agree about they're going. Obviously, they're going to go back with Monty. He's number one. Doesn't mean he'll still be number one 4 months from now. You know, goaltending as well as I. It can change in a heartbeat. Let's go back to 1971 there, Liam, for a sec, you know. Right.
I go back there very, very happily. I mean, Ken Dryden came in at the end of the season and won 6 starts, but they didn't play him in that final regular season game against Boston. They put Rogie back in. They got lit up large. Espo got a hat trick, ended up with 76 goals. Bruins set 37 team and individual records that year, finished 24 points ahead of the Habs, scored 399 goals, and then Montreal knocked him off in 7, and Kenny's legacy started, even though he got lit up large in 2 of those games and allowed 59, I guess. They were 2 empty netters over the 20 playoff games, but Ken's legacy started in 71, and the rest is history. But Jean Beliveau and Frank Mahovlich both had, especially the Big M. The Big M had 27 points in the playoffs. It was unfreaking believable. And Jean game 2 scored the 2 goals to make it 5-3 and 5-4. And that was a game that, even though it was only game 2, really turned the tide. But yeah, I'll go back to 71 anytime, man.
7-5. My sister was a huge Bruins fan, and she will never get over the fact that they started Eddie Johnson instead of Jerry Cheevers in that game. And she was right. She said it before the game.
But, they split evenly the year before in 1970, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs. They alternated, much like Philadelphia did in 1980 with Phil Muir and Pete Peters. They split, right? And they went to the final and lost the Islanders in 6 games. Like, it can be done. And I think Boston just tried to recapture that, and it didn't work out. And when they won the cup in 72, well, it was 90% cheesy, right? So, but in 70, they went through and got it done splitting both of them. So you just don't know, right?
No, that's right. And I got a comment here from someone. It's a great player, but his face-offs have been brutal so far. Well, let's have a look at the some of the stats. Liam, I'll say them because you haven't. You probably can't see it on your dial-up.
No. Was that the reference? The reference there was because I can't. It's just I'm just seeing the little box, Grant. So
no, I'm just kidding. Caulfield was 25% tonight. Newhook was better, 57. That's good. Uri took one in his own zone and won it cleanly, I might add, 100%. Evans, 64. Bolduc, 33. Kirby Doc, 25. You notice that Bolduc almost took as many face-offs as Doc. I think you're going to be seeing that more and more as the season goes along. But there was an interesting thing for me. It's happened. They've got burned twice now on it. The first game, it was Bolduc taking a face-off in his own zone and them losing it and Toronto scoring. But for me, it was the power play starting penalty kill, and they put Newhook and Kapanen out, who had been great the game before, but the face-off, as you know, starts in the defensive zone, and they had Newhook taking the draw on the face-off, and I get like, this is a 35-40% face-off guy for his career, taking the draw to start. Why is Evans not out there? And they lost it. Detroit kept possession. They scored. After that, every time like why not at least put Evans out there? Last year, Marty did it all the time, especially at the end of the year, where he'd put out the best face-off guys. Dvorak and Evans were out for every defensive zone draw, and it worked. But I did not understand why Evans wasn't out to start that power play, to take the draw. I had a look, and I got this up. It's a little dark, but there's Evans the last 2 years in that zone on the left, in the left circle, 57% on faceoffs. Okay.
Yep.
Doc in that time period, 42%.
By the way, I figured out how to enlarge it.
Oh, you did? All right.
Wendy's sitting over here to my left. She says, just hit the square in the bottom right-hand corner, you idiot.
There you go. Right on. Well, you can contribute to these.
Hey, who knew? I see everything.
Who knew? Oh man. But that's twice now Marty's kind of, I know it's only the start of the year, but geez, these games are just as important. They have to get off to a strong start. And I'm surprised, because last year it worked so well and he did it all the time, that he's been, just little mistakes like that where I'm sorry, you got to start that penalty kill.
Wouldn't you love to ask Marty? Wouldn't you love to be in the post-game scrum and ask him? Because what's the answer? What? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. But the rest of the game, every time like Evans was out, Evans and Anderson started, the PK. And it doesn't even have to be Evans and Anderson. It can be Evans and Kapanen. If Evans gets thrown out, Kapanen takes the draw. They're both pretty good on faceoffs. I think that he learned from that, because the rest of the game, Evans started every PK, and it shouldn't be new. As well as they played the game before, get them out there second, and let Evans take the draws in the defensive zone to start the PK.
I wonder if it's not maybe an opportunity to give them that experience, because throughout the season he's going to have to find a backup to take important faceoffs. It can't just be Evans. But I agree with your point in the sense that you could do that if you have a 2-goal lead or a 3-goal lead, or if it's a blowout, and you give the opportunity then to Newhook or guys like that. But I guess you're right, though. When it's 0-0, a game that it's a 2-point game, they're all important. That's not the time maybe to give opportunities to guys. It's maybe better to wait until the right occasion presents itself. But it is going to be an issue, I think, at some point for the team to be as successful as they'd like to be. You got to get that secondary option. It has to be somebody. It can't just be Evans, or else you're going to be playing Suzuki way too many minutes to take important faceoffs, and that becomes an issue over the long term, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And let's see here. Okay, since Liam can see the stats now, let's put him back up for a minute here.
I can see no problem, guys. All along. Yeah, no worries.
Okay, good. Now let's look at ice time.
Yeah, see the Sheriffs way back up. Love it.
Yeah. 6
hits tonight. Gooley 5 hits. That's great. Love seeing that. I know it's an arbitrary stat from home rink to home rink, but still that's reflective, I think, of what we saw. And like you and I were talking, Grant, on the phone this morning, I said keeping him down under 10, 11 minutes. He needs his reps, and I'm encouraged by what we saw out of him tonight too. I see he's got a +2 rating, picked up a helper there at the Goal Stays Carriers, and it's just it's great to see, man. I'm a fan of his, so I love seeing that.
Yeah, for sure. Jack Eye 1537 tonight. You like that, Liam? I thought he played well. You know,
He looked good tonight. He you know, there was really, I know it was at least 2 fights in the Ottawa Tampa game, and big win for Ottawa tonight. Down 3-1, came back.
They came back, eh?
Yeah. Got the W in Tampa, and Tampa looked really good preseason and looked good early in that game. A little bit I could gleam out of it, but so yeah, I know they had some fights in that game too. So we haven't had anything yet. 2 games in Montreal, but Arbor's there when that goes down, and it was good, man. I saw him out there a lot. So, and you're just putting up the ice time, and I said that's way more than last night, and sure enough, here it is. So, Lane, you know, hasn't got a point yet, right, this year, I don't believe, but he's looking good. You know, he's looking pretty good out there, I would say. And there he is, 22-41 on ice. That's where's Matheson tonight? What was his ice?
20-22. Funny, Dobson was had less than 20 tonight.
Yeah.
And Kapanen had the least amount of ice time of anybody, which is also interesting. He's certainly playing well so far. I've been very happy with him, but yeah, Kapanen 12:04, least amount of ice time anybody, which is right. That's fine. I mean, he's the center with the 19 games of NHL experience, so you don't want to.
Kapanen's 1440, Grant.
What's that?
No,
I'm looking at Demidov.
Demidov had the least amount of ice. Yeah,
Demidov had the least amount. And Kapanen, that's right, because he played on the 333 shorthanded, which is looks like the Canadians found their replacement for Dvorak as far as PK goes with Kapanen. I've been impressed so far with the job he's doing out there. He certainly reads the play well, eh?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. I don't know if Liam is the number one person to ask. I can't remember when's the last time a team had 4 right-handed shot at center. It blows my mind every time I see that. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
People call that like one of those value picks when you're looking for a center who can shoot right, and Montreal have all 4 of them.
Very, very rare. I got to give that some thought. That's certainly not right off the top of my head, not springing to mind, because the majority of players shoot left. Yeah. And when you think of the Soviet national team there in 72, every single guy on that team shot left except for 2. They're all left-hand shots. So that was way back, obviously. But, I mean, you see some anomalies every now and then. This is unusual, 2025, to see that for sure.
Especially right. Right-handed.
Yeah, you'd see left. But even still, you would hardly see that at left. So right-hand shot, you're right, Rick. It's a very good point.
Yeah. The there's people weighing in on Suzuki's face-off percentage. Hey, it's 2 games into the year, folks. Players are going to have nights when they win 25% of the draws. He could win 75% the next night. So don't worry about Suzuki. He's a 50% guy or better in the draws now, and that'll that'll smoothen out. So it'll be nice.
Montreal's taking on Chicago, so he probably will get 75% of his faceoffs.
There you go. So. Yeah, exactly. Are they gonna? It's funny, hey. The next game they've got Chicago, so Frank Nazar against Kirby Dach, and then the next night, in Chicago, and then the next game back home, Shane Wright against Slafkovsky. So we, we'll see who gets the better of those matches. But what is cool is that even if Shane Wright has 2 goals or whatever that night and Slaf doesn't get any, people are still, they got over the fact that they didn't pick Shane Wright, and that the Slaf pick was a good one, and that he's going to be he is a hell of a player, and he's going to be an even better one down the road, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's have a look here, see if anybody has a couple of things to say. Liam, are you good for a few more minutes, or you got to get going? Or
I'm getting ready to shut her down here, Grant.
Okay.
Unless there's somebody's got some questions. Otherwise, I think we've pretty much analyzed it to death.
Yeah, I believe so. We don't have to go on forever. Well, why don't you pack her in, Liam? You've had a long day again.
Yeah.
Get your questions ready for that Cornwall interview.
Yeah. I'm ready right now.
Yeah, I bet, eh? They're all up here. Okay, my friend, we'll let you go. I'm going to keep Rick around for a couple more minutes,
Thank you.
whether he likes it or not.
Great
Okay.
great to meet you this way, Rick. Hopefully some point very soon we'll shake hands and have a cool
Hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, he lives in Montreal, so yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Even better. One of the world's greatest cities, man. I can't wait to get back down there. So go Habs, go boys, and we'll talk to everybody again soon.
Thanks,
Thank
Liam.
you. Thank you. Have a great day, Liam. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Oh, Liam, it took him a while to figure out what button to press there to
so
leave.
maybe another question for Chicago's game is that maybe an opportunity to get Struble and Veleno on the ice a little bit.
Yeah,
that's a question.
We'll see. I mean, with Arbor playing better and playing 15 minutes, maybe, and playing them back to back, kind of tells me that they're, Strubel's going to be sitting in the box.
Yeah, I think so for a while. I agree with you, and I think Veleno could move in, but I think they're kind of giving Liney a little bit of a shot, but it's kind of seems a bit difficult on that fourth line to know how to integrate Liney with Anderson and Evans. How do you use them to the best of his ability? I think his tendency to slow down the play maybe hurts Anderson and Evans a little bit because they can't. No, they don't take the game that way, right? They got to go up and down the ice hard and forecheck and be a presence that way. And Liney slows down the game, and I've seen it a few times where Anderson just looked almost a little bit confused now. Like, well, what do I do?
Yeah.
This is not the way I play. It might be a problem, but God forbid, I'm going to knock on wood. There is going to be at some point a player missing a game or two here and there, and maybe the lines will be rebalanced in a different way that might work. But we'll see. I think they're going to wait a little bit and give both Liney and Jackai a little bit more time. But you're going to have to get those guys in at some point, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, wrong one. Beckett Seneca got a goal tonight. Yeah, that was my guy 2 years ago. That
yes.
Everyone kind of thought I was nuts saying that he should probably go top 5. I was once in a while the blind squirrel gets a nut, as they say. It's funny. Like people now saying, "Oh, Grant, you're right about Kapanen." I'm not any better a scout than anybody else. I think just about the only thing that makes you a good scout, there's nobody there aren't people that have better eyes than others. I don't think. It's just work hard. Like anybody out there that wants to become a decent scout, the main ingredient to that is hard work. Like the reason why I felt that Oliver Kapanen was a good choice to play with Demidov and that he should win a center spot was because I watched him 100 times over the past 3 years. I probably watched him more than anybody. Yeah. So that it wasn't like, oh wow, what a genius! It wasn't a genius thing or an epiphany or anything. It was just hard work, seeing it over and over again. How smart he is, all the little things that he does. Just it's because I worked hard, passionate about the Canadians' prospects, and you'll see that with my scouting reports this year. I'm going to be doing dozens and dozens of them, and I'll be putting them up on the site because I'm passionate about it. I work hard, and if you work hard and you watch, it'll finally. Hey, wait a sec, that guy's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Because
I agree 100%. It's the time you put in.
Yeah. So
because I think with scouting is that it's not like not a job you learn going to school and understanding, and it's a lot of it is you find your own ways, and we're all looking at things a little bit different. But the more you scout, the more you find what works for you and what you're looking at and how to look at things and how to take notes and like you've taught me stuff, but I just show up at games and I take notes my own way. And like if an actual scout will look at my notes and go, "What the heck is this?" But I found a way that works for me by doing it a lot and a lot and a lot and learning from it.
Right.
And you're right on. Just watch, learn, pay attention, and do it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. And talk to guys, like, I mean, I got a lot of mentoring and you learn, okay, that's what NHL
Yeah.
scouts look for in a player, or this
Yeah.
or that. That's why this guy isn't,
Yeah.
isn't rated as high as a lot of people maybe think or whatever. And, you talk to people. I mean, I saw it with Seneca. He played against Ottawa in the playoffs that year, and I saw it firsthand going to all the games. Like, okay, this kid is really good, and he's really come on. And people that don't have him in their top 15 are wrong. And I talked to other scouts, Ontario-based scouts, and they were saying the same thing. Yeah, no, he could well go top 5 in the draft. And yet you saw all these lists, he wasn't even in top 10s. But,
Yeah.
it's the Ontario League scouts that, like, scouting staffs talk, their regional guys, they listen to him. And the Ontario guys loved him. And I knew damn well that he was a good bet to go in the top 5. And it didn't shock me at all that he went 3rd
No.
overall. I mean, I would have picked Demidov ahead of him, but
Yeah.
I mean, that was the shock for me, was that Demidov dropped to 5.
Oh
But,
man. Oh
you
wow.
know,
Yeah. I remember watching it the draft and I go, this is gonna happen. I can't believe it. And
yeah,
it did. And
yeah,
wow. I thought Seneca was really good, and that's the thing is everyone was saying no, 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 no. Like it's like, have you seen him? Do you know that he's not a top 5 pick? Because what I've seen is I saw a top 5 pick. He
yeah,
skates like the win. I might have had him at 5 exactly if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but he was good. He was really really good at the end of the season. You can't just rely on what you saw the 5th game of the year and say, well, I saw him a few months ago and once, and that's what I think of him, and it's over. Got to watch them a few times and
yeah.
see the progression.
Okay, get your head back in the
Yeah.
screen there. You're pulling a Kevin Weeks on me there. You're Slav had 2 really good games. This is the best he has looked to start a season. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think it's
Absolutely.
a good omen. Joe says, so best D so far, Matheson, 6 years at 5.5, right? Seems like a bargain. Yeah, if you could lock him up. And you know what? Matheson's got another, like, he has only gotten better. And it happens with a lot of defensemen. The late 20s to early 30s is when they truly develop. And that's been the case with Matheson. Like, he's a lot better defenseman today than he was in Pittsburgh or Florida. And we saw it with Petrie, after he came to Montreal, from about 28 to 33 were his best years, right? And as good a skating defenseman as Mike Matheson is, that even at 35, he's still going to be a very good skating defenseman. He'll still be, he's not going to lose those wheels. He'll still be very good defenseman at 35. So, the talk, a lot of people thought, well, he'll be dealt before the start of the year. You know what? He's been there. He's led them in time on ice the last 3 years. He was a big reason why they made the playoffs last year, even though, he was kind of a whipping boy. He's got a first pairing defenseman, a first pairing right shot defenseman to play with for the first time since he was in Montreal, and they look great together. So he's not going anywhere. I would be, especially if they stay, unless they fall out of the playoff race, then you'll see him traded at the deadline. But hey, You don't trade if you're in the playoffs, and I don't care if he's a UFA to be or not. You don't trade a first pairing defenseman if you're in a playoff spot. Can you recall
Yeah.
it happening?
No, I don't think it's going to happen because you got to reward the players that are there that have been through the rebuild. You got to give them the opportunity to advance and make the playoffs and get that experience. And Matheson will only help you do it. So I don't. Is he going to sign an extension? That's another question. I think it's going to depend on what he's expecting, what he wants, and what Montreal's willing to offer. I don't think it's. I think it could go either way. But no, I don't think I don't see why he's going to. The only way actually I could see Matheson being moved would be almost like a miracle where Struble and Jackay take such a huge step forward that but that would be a miracle a little bit there. I'm not expecting that to happen. I think he's too important. He's important in the locker room. You've mentioned him many times, and he's important to the youngsters. He's important to that decor. They've lost David Savard last year, who, he wasn't the player he once was, but he was important in that locker room.
Yeah.
I don't think they want to do that again. And I think he's going to stay. I don't think he's going to be traded. I don't think anybody's going to be traded this year, to be honest with you, unless it's a depth player. But I think they're going to go with this team as far as it'll take them. And I think it could be further. I think it'll be pretty far. I could see this team going a few rounds. I really believe that they can do it. If obviously the injury situation is what matters a lot in this league. But if everybody's pretty healthy, I think Montreal could go a few rounds this year and take another big step forward. I really do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what kind of message would you be sending to the players if they're in a playoff position at the end of February and they turn around and they trade, their defenseman that's on the first pairing? Like it would not send a good message.
No.
To the team,
and the coaches would actually be upset too. I mean, like we've done everything you've asked us to do. We've developed, we've worked our butts off. We're here in the summer working out. A lot of players stayed in Montreal this summer to work out together to get better. You can't put you mess them over like that. It's just not going to happen. So no, he's staying, and great. I think you're seeing. He's reminding everybody how much of a good defenseman he is with the right partner.
Right. Well, who in the past 3 years have been the right defenseman? It's been rookies. It's been David Savard, who wasn't going to play much with Matheson. No. It was guys playing on the other side, right? Like
it was Goulet on the right side, and Matheson played on the right side for a little bit too, and that wasn't easy on him, right?
And him playing 25, 28 minutes a game. Well, now they have them playing like 20 to 22. They have them playing with a first pairing right defenseman.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, he looks great.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought it? Yeah. Who'd have thunk it? So, getting Dobson was such a key to, helping out Matheson and Hudson. Because Lane Hudson, you don't want him playing 25 minutes a game either. You don't.
No.
Or 28. No. You want him playing 20 to 22 minutes. And so far the stats, you look at I love it. 20-22 for Matheson, 22-41 for Hudson, and 20-46 for Goulet. Basically all the top four defensemen, as I kind of predicted going in the year, are all playing the same ice time, with Hudson getting a little more because he's on the first power play. But that, when you take away the power play time, if you look at it here, let's put it back up. Power play, Hudson, 219. So even strength, Hudson 2012. And what's Matheson? 16. Yeah, but that's not counting shorthanded. So if you, like 20 minutes and 22 seconds for Hudson, 20 minutes and 3 seconds for Matheson. when they're not on the power play. So basically the exact same. That's perfect. I think,
Yeah.
you know, have
Yeah.
those guys playing the same. They basically have a 1A and 1B defense pairing at the
I
top
agree.
with those
I
two.
agree.
Right? Yeah.
And what a change too for that third pairing, where by moving Carrier there, what was happening last year was with Savard on that third pairing. If the play broke down or there was a mistake, he just didn't have the speed to cover for his partner. Carrier moves a lot quicker, so he could cover when a guy like Jack or Struble, still young, make a mistake. And Struble, I mean, Jack, it's noticeable. He's quicker out there. He's a little bit more balanced. His footwork is better. I think he worked hard on that this year, knowing that he has to play better defense if he's going to play in this league a lot, and it shows. He's just reacts a little quicker. I think he blocked 2 shots today, if I'm not mistaken, and he moved really quickly to get to them. So as a decor, as a whole, I love the distribution of time, and I love the way they complement each other. It all makes sense. I think everybody's abilities are being maximized, and that's coaching. That's what you're supposed to do. Put the players in a position to succeed, and that's what they're doing right now with this lineup.
Yeah, for sure. And Sheldon Hughes, ice time for all the D has been excellent. That's a testament
Yeah,
to the depth and quality of the D, which is echoing
yeah,
what you're saying, Rick. And you know, depth is a thing that contenders need. So it's good to see the depth work together. No one saw these line combos, but I love the player role. That's a good comment from VDC, whatever that's supposed to mean. Thank you, VDC. What's that? Leonardo da Vinci? Is that?
Oh, us older guys don't understand young people slang, so
Yeah. Yeah. Is Slaf getting Drum Dude 74? Gotta get one in from Drum Dude. Slaf getting 25 or what? I think I predicted somewhere around there. Hey, just in front of the net, the friggin' right,
yeah.
getting all the. Oh, I just saw a private message from Liam. I gotta go, pal. Huh. See, I read his mind before I. Yeah, yeah. I gotta get back to the comments here, but yeah, I predict somewhere in that range, but just in front of the net. You know, I like seeing him score those types of goals, and he can get 15 to 20 just in and around the crease area, right? Using that big body, getting the
Yeah.
rebounds, it didn't have to be a fancy one. I said, I hope one goes off his tongue or something, just get one, right? And get that confidence going. And I think that bodes well for him scoring in the first 2 games of the year. I think.
But he needs to play. He needs to play against Moritz Seider as much as he could, because like last
Oh,
year too, he really
hitting.
he had the best game of his life, I think, last year against Detroit, and he made Moritz Seider's life miserable. And today
Yeah.
again, 2 hard hits.
Oh, I know,
It
eh?
seems like something Moritz Seider hangered him at some point of his career, and he thinks he's taking it out
Oh,
on him every
well,
time.
Cider laid him out a couple times last year. I noticed in a game too,
Okay.
and I think Slaf took his number, and
Okay.
they've had some good battles. It's gone both ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cider has. I saw a game last year where Cider clocked him a couple times.
Okay.
Cider's
He's
a
a good
big,
player.
strong boy,
He is. He's a
and
big, strong boy.
yeah. So there's quite a hitting rivalry going there with those two, and I
Yeah.
love it. I think it's great. Oh, we already had that one before. No, Lotus Man says I would start Dobes. Yeah, well, you gotta show loyalty to your guys, right?
I do think so.
I mean, that'd be like starting. Oh, Kapanen has a goal in his first 2 games, so starting him at center on the top
Yeah.
line the next game because he's got 2
And
goals and Suzuki doesn't. I
it's
mean,
not like
no,
it's not like Monty played a bad game versus Toronto either, so you
not
can't really
really.
punish him either, right?
Well, no, it wasn't terrible. 2 empty net goals.
Right.
The goal with 2 guys with no sticks.
Oh,
Yeah, he kind of shoveled it
man.
out a bit, and you could blame a little bit for that, but I don't. I think,
Yeah.
Really it was a 2-2 game, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Drum dude, Doc had his moments. Faceoffs are a problem, but if he can pick up the two-way game, I can live with that. Yeah. Yeah. Doc, it's encouraging to see Doc. I like him in the third. I'm really glad that Marty didn't stick with that plan which I found interesting in at the start of camp, saying, well, he's going to be the second line, announcing that he was going to be the second line center to start the year. But yeah, I'm glad that Doc is in the third slot. Ease him back in, and I like the makeup of how they've got Doc, Gallagher, Bolduc together, and Newhook, Kapanen, and Demidov. I think it's working so far. Keep it
Yeah.
going, and
And
you
you
can
had
always
brought it
mix
up,
and
right?
match. What's that?
And you had brought it up, Grant. You had mentioned that the one thing about Marty St. Louis that we could appreciate is that he will adjust and he has a plan.
Yeah,
And if he sees another idea is better, he's not so arrogant or he's not so insecure to say, I'm not going to change my mind no matter what. He's like, you know what, this might work out better. I'm okay. I'll change my mind. And that's what he did. When he saw the games, he figured, okay, maybe Kapanen will be better off in this position. And I think it's going to work better. And it has worked better. And everybody's in the right slot, like we said before, right?
yeah, for sure. Um, Ronan Ronan says I can't decide how to spell that last name or how to pronounce. Understandable. I wasn't as high on Cap as Grant, but not as low as Snake. Yeah, well, I don't think anybody was as high on Cap as I was. Being wrong is only good for the Habs, anyways. Yes, exactly. And I've been wrong.
Said, yes.
And I've been wrong many times. We're all
Absolutely.
wrong. We
We
all
all were.
we all make poor predictions, and
Absolutely.
sometimes we make good ones. And
Yeah.
I just my Kapanen love is looking good right now, but there'll be somebody else down the road that I'll say da da da, and I'll be 100% wrong. So
Yeah.
this one thing that you learn about this, the hockey industry is it should keep you humble, and because
Absolutely.
there will always be mistakes. Just like I had Prokhorov ranked at top 10. I'll admit right now he doesn't look like he should have been top 10, and that could
Really?
change.
Okay.
But if I were to do it again right now, I would rank Jarosky ahead of Prokhorov. Right. So there's an
And it's
example.
also it's early in the season for Prokhorov too, right? In 10 games, he might prove you're right again.
Yeah. No. Hey, he's down. He's gone from the KHL playing 2 minutes to the VHL to the MHL, and Jarosky's on first line in the KHL. So I'm going to
Wow.
declare
Okay.
right now that Jarosky's better. But yeah, you never know. I mean,
You never know.
well, Prokhorov is a 6'5" boy, that big boy that it's going to take time. It always does for bigger players, and we'll see. But I'm glad that the Canadians didn't listen to me and take Prokhorov at 32 or 33 or whatever it was, and they took Jarosky because he looks like the real deal. There's
Fantastic.
an example of where I'm glad I was wrong. So, anyways, okay. Look, we've been at this over an hour now. Young lad wants to get down and get gaming, and you've got to get up early. I know it's past your bedtime, so why don't we wrap this up?
Absolutely.
And thank you to everybody for showing up again. We got up to 1237, which is a dandy number again. Really encouraged by that. Thank you everybody for tuning in. So when's the next game against Chicago?
I believe it's Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. Well, we'll see if we can't get can't get the game in room on Saturday night. And if you're available even for a segment, Rick, I'd love to have you back again. And
Great, thank you.
I'd love to have all of you back again as well. So thanks everyone. Have a good night, and hope to see you on Saturday.